Hello MotoGP fans, welcome back to ZNGP Today. Just a day after sealing third place in the 2024 MotoGP Championship, Marc Marquez has officially stepped into his new role as a Ducati Lenovo rider. With the 2025 preseason test set to begin tomorrow at Montmeló, the 8-time world champion wasted no time immersing himself in his new environment. Here's more on Marquez's first day in Ducati Red. Pecco Bagnaia may have missed out on a third consecutive MotoGP world title, but the Ducati star demonstrated the grace of a champion in reflecting on his season. Despite achieving an impressive 11 victories in 2024, Bagnaia ultimately fell short to Jorge Martín. Here's a look at his reflections on the season and his plans for the future. Ducati course general manager Gigi D'Allegna has described the 2024 MotoGP season as a stratospheric year for the Italian manufacturer. While Jorge Martín claimed the Riders' Championship, the team also faced bittersweet moments, including Francesco Bagnaia's title loss and major changes within the Ducati camp. Here's more on what D'Allegna had to say. Jorge Martín's dream of becoming the 2024 MotoGP World Champion has come true, but with one last question still hanging in the air. Will he race with the coveted number 1 plate next season with Aprilia? Let's dive into the latest on this MotoGP sensation. Don't forget to click subscribe button and the bell icon for MotoGP news update. After a successful stint with Team Gresini, which culminated in a hard-fought second-place finish in Sunday's Barcelona MotoGP and a podium spot in the championship standings, Marquez has already turned his focus to his next challenge with Ducati Lenovo. Marquez edged out Enea Bastianini for third in the standings by just 6 points, capping off his season in style. Now, he's preparing to team up with Pecco Bagnaia, a two-time champion and 2024 runner-up, in what promises to be a powerhouse pairing for Ducati in 2025. While Marquez hasn't spoken publicly yet, sources close to Ducati have described his excitement and determination to hit the ground running in this new chapter of his career. Marquez spent his first day at the Ducati Lenovo box getting acclimated to his new team and surroundings. Seen in discussions with key personnel, including team manager Davide Tardazzi and his new chief mechanic, Marco Rigamonti, Marquez made it clear that he's eager to maximize every available moment to prepare. The first 2025 preseason test begins tomorrow at the Circuit de Barcelona Catalunya, and Marquez will be riding both the GP24 and GP25 machines to get a feel for his new tools. These tests are critical as Marquez aims to adapt to the Ducati and integrate into a team that has dominated MotoGP in recent years. Working alongside Bagnaia, who has been with Ducati since 2019, Marquez will also focus on fostering a strong team dynamic. Marquez knows he has a lot to learn from Bagnaia, and a good atmosphere in the garage is key for success. The 2 years of his contract with Ducati will be pivotal in shaping his legacy. Marc Marquez's journey with Ducati Lenovo begins with high expectations as the MotoGP world eagerly watches this historic collaboration unfold. With tomorrow's test marking the first step in his quest for another title, the Cervera rider has shown he's ready to take on the challenge. Stay tuned for updates as Marquez takes to the track in Ducati Red for the first time. Bagnaia, who came just 10 points shy of the championship, expressed admiration for Jorge Martín's performance, emphasizing the importance of celebrating the Spaniard's achievement. Bagnaia added that while he believed he was the stronger competitor, his mistakes ultimately decided the title. I always empathize with others. It would have been wrong to take the spotlight away from Jorge. My victory this weekend was important, but Martín made the difference this season. He deserves it. He's a great rider. I made too many errors this season. In the future, I'll try to be more careful in certain situations. Quote from Pecco Bagnaia. Bagnaia identified specific incidents that impacted his season, including crashes in Portimao, Jerez, and Aragon due to contact with other riders. In all those cases, I could have avoided the crash. With Marc in Portimao, I could have been satisfied. With Alex in Aragon and Brad in Jerez, I could have waited. But in the heat of a race, you just want to push as far as possible. Bagnaia highlighted the importance of learning from these moments to improve his racecraft moving forward. Despite finishing second, Bagnaia remains proud of his season and is already looking ahead to new opportunities. This season is a lesson. I lost because of my mistakes, and I accept that. But I'm proud of what my team and I achieved. Finishing second is not a victory, but it's still a good result. I can't wait for Tuesday to begin testing something new. Then I'll go on my honeymoon, which will help me relax and reset. With 11 wins this season, Bagnaia's achievements are remarkable, but his focus remains on the bigger picture, winning more championships. Drawing inspiration from Marc Marquez's career, Bagnaia is confident he can bounce back stronger. I don't focus on the numbers. I'm happy with what I've achieved, but I believe I still have about 10 years ahead of me to keep improving. My goal is to increase the number of world titles. This isn't a real defeat, it's an opportunity to learn and grow. Marquez lost the title in 2015 but came back to win 4 in a row. I aim to do the same. Pecco Bagnaia may have fallen short this season, but his humility and determination ensure he remains a fan favorite and a fierce competitor. With lessons learned and a mindset geared toward improvement, Bagnaia is already preparing for a stronger comeback in 2025. Jorge Martín made history as the first satellite rider to win a MotoGP World Championship in the modern era. Despite being passed over for a factory Ducati seat in 2025, Martín delivered a near-flawless season with Pramac Racing. Jorge did a wonderful job keeping it together to bring the title home. It may have looked easy on paper, but his season was near perfect. I'd like to congratulate him and thank him for taking the Desmosed GP to the ultimate goal once again. Quote from Gigi D'Allegna. Martín's achievements included 8 Grand Prix victories and becoming the second consecutive rider to win a title aboard Ducati machinery, following Bagnaia's 2022 and 2023 triumphs. Reigning champion Francesco Bagnaia had a remarkable season with 11 race wins and 7 sprint victories but fell 10 points short of Martín in the standings. For D'Allegna, Bagnaia's performance underscored the unpredictable nature of MotoGP. Pecco's numbers this year have been fantastic, and his talent is unquestionable. Unfortunately, things sometimes don't go as we'd like, but this is the beauty of racing. Results are never a given. Bagnaia's 7 non-scores, coupled with technical setbacks, weighed heavily on his title defense. However, Ducati's commitment to treating its riders equally was evident, with no preferential treatment for Bagnaia even in the title's final stages. Ducati also bid an emotional farewell to key figures, including Pramac Racing and Enea Bastianini. Pramac will switch to Yamaha machinery in 2025, marking the end of a 20-year partnership with Ducati. Today's victory is the best way to say goodbye to Pramac Racing, a formidable group of professionals with whom we've worked in harmony for 2 decades. To each of them, starting with Paolo Campinotti, a very strong hug. D'Allegna also thanked Bastianini, who will depart after 2 seasons with Ducati. I'm happy Enea was able to display his potential again after a challenging year. We wish him the best for the future. With changes on the horizon, Ducati is preparing for a new era in 2025. Marc Marquez will join the factory team alongside Bagnaia, making his Ducati debut at Tuesday's post-race test. Now it's time to celebrate before starting preparations for the new season. Our goal remains to continue improving and remain the reference point for constructors in MotoGP. D'Allegna also reflected on Ducati's dominant 2024 season, which saw record-breaking wins and podium finishes. 2024 was a stratospheric year for Ducati, capped by placing 8 Desmosed GPs in front at the sprint race in Thailand. I want to thank all the men and women of Ducati course who work hard every day to achieve these great results. Forza Ducati! As Ducati celebrates a historic year, the focus now shifts to 2025 with new riders, challenges, and ambitions. Whether Bagnaia reclaims the crown or Marquez delivers another chapter of brilliance, Ducati aims to remain at the pinnacle of MotoGP. In an emotional celebration following his MotoGP World Championship win in Barcelona, Jorge Martín proudly slapped a shiny gold number 1 on the front number plate of his Pramac Ducati. However, when asked whether he will keep the number 1 plate for his debut with Aprilia next season, the Spaniard was elusive. "What do you think?" He smiled before adding, "I think now it's time to celebrate the moment. I don't want to think about next year. Today we are number 1 and we will try to enjoy this moment as much as possible." Quote from Jorge Martín. Martin made it clear that for now, he's focused solely on the present and his hard-earned title celebration. But the question remains, will he take the iconic number 1 plate when he joins the factory Aprilia team next season? The debate over the number 1 plate in MotoGP is one of the most fascinating aspects of the sport. Since the introduction of the MotoGP era in 2002, champions have had different approaches to the use of the number 1. While some, like Valentino Rossi and Marc Marquez, opted to keep their iconic numbers, others, such as Nicky Hayden, Casey Stoner, and Francesco Bagnaia, have embraced the number 1 plate to symbolize their title defense. Jorge Lorenzo, in particular, took both routes. After his first MotoGP title in 2011, he wore the number 1 plate but returned to his usual number 99 in 2013 and 2016. Now, with Martín possibly facing a similar choice, the question of whether to keep his current number 89 or switch to the number 1 becomes a point of interest for fans and teams alike. There's no denying that wearing the number 1 plate carries significant prestige, both in terms of sporting honor and marketing value. It would be a bold statement for Aprilia to have their new world champion, Jorge Martín, racing with the number 1 on his bike as he debuts with the factory team. Many believe that this could boost the appeal of Aprilia and further elevate the team's presence on the world stage. However, just as Bagnaia did for Ducati, Martín's decision could have a profound impact on the branding of his new team. With the title now in the bag, Martín's focus is shifting towards his new challenge with Aprilia. His first official test with the team will take place during the post-race test in Barcelona, where he will begin to familiarize himself with the factory Aprilia bike. Fans will be watching closely to see how quickly he can adapt to his new machinery. Despite his success with Ducati, moving to Aprilia marks a new chapter in his career, and the number 1 plate could be a symbolic way to mark that transition. As the 2024 season winds down, the question of what number Jorge Martín will carry on his bike next season is just one piece of a larger puzzle. With the shift to Aprilia, Martín will face new challenges, but his immense talent and championship-winning pedigree position him as a rider to watch in 2025. While the decision on the number 1 plate remains uncertain, Jorge Martín's future with Aprilia is already set to make waves in the MotoGP paddock. Whether he keeps the number 89 or dons the number 1 plate, one thing is clear: Jorge Martín's 2024 title will go down in history, and his move to Aprilia promises to bring even more excitement to the world of MotoGP. We'll be watching closely to see what number he races with in 2025, and what new challenges await him on the Aprilia machine. Thanks for watching ZNGP Today, and this is your MotoGP news update. See you in the next video.